Hey guys, what's going on? Chris here with Shughead Games, and welcome to a new series that I'm going to be starting called Dreaming of Dreams. If you don't know what Dreams is yet, well, Jesus guys, you really should know that, but I'm going to put the link below so you can check out what Dreams is. The long and short of it is that it's a game design tool where you can animate and craft and make music, add logic controls. Basically, you can make just about any game that you can imagine, including multiplayer and VR. Media Molecule always stated they would be adding VR support post-launch. And with the recent announcement that they are looking for a limited number of Dream players in Europe to help test the VR integration, I think VR integration is very shortly upon us. In the past few months, I've been actually spending a lot of time in Dreams on kind of the playing side, basically like a social network that's kind of separate from the creation part. And it's here that you can play people's games, you can even try their tech demos, their artwork, and any other assets they might have. You'll even see logic tests and physics models for cars and such. But the most amazing thing is that for the most part, a lot of this is just open source, so it's just shared within that Dreams public. One thing I've been noticing that's kind of developing over time is a proper gun model and physics for actually playing an FPS. These are the best of the best of first-person shooters that I think you need to see, because when VR support is added, it's going to be really interesting to see what this community of like amazing developers are going to be able to do in VR. I think we're going to see many of these games, or at least parts of them, brought into VR creations or entire games ported over to VR. However, we're yet to see how PSVR optimization is going to work and how much of a toll that's going to take on the old girl there. But as we look forward to PS5, the sky may be the limits, putting a little bit of pressure on VR developers, because if they don't give us what we want, we're just going to go make it. First up is Relentless from Intra Attack Out. This is obviously very much his take on the last two modern Doom games. And while it definitely feels fan-made, it's actually pretty incredible still, the fact that he made this. The game's maybe only like a half an hour long as you kind of go through the few stages that he's got here, but the game mechanics here are actually really solid. Yeah, the lighting he's got going on here is actually pretty impressive. Gotta love those glory kills. Next up is Medal of Honor inspired game, and this is by the developer Krasil. And this really takes me back to the first one on PS1, and this looks actually pretty slick. Gunplay was a little sensitive, but it still felt really good. AI is a little dumb, but that's kind of a thing we're seeing in a lot of games here, I think, as these young developers are figuring out AI logic. That's probably going to be something that we'll see as we move forward. It just plays polished. All right, next up is Alien Hostiles. This is by Super T-Man. He's probably one of the best first-person shooter creators. This was one of his earlier creations, and at the end of the video, I'm going to have one of his newest ones, and it's bananas. This game, though, still looks good. It's definitely a tower defense game. It's got a bunch of consumables that you can pick up, and you have to repair your towers and such. The The only thing I didn't love is it has this movement that's designed to kind of make it feel faster, but it kind of warps around you. If any of you guys have played the game The Forest, you'll know what I'm talking about. But regardless, this game is still very polished compared to a lot of stuff in the store, and definitely worth trying. Okay, so this brings us to something that's a bit of a tech demo. It's called Multiple Weapon FPS Test, and it's by ADAMO. And this is what I'm talking about with the community starting to work on gun mechanics, because damn, this plays really well. Really interesting to see if we can add aim support into this to bring this gunplay kind of to the next level. Given that the game already supports both moves on the game creation side, I think that's very likely. And for all of you guys screaming for Call of Duty in VR, yep, we got Call of Duty here. This first game is called Wet and Dead. It's pretty popular in the store, and it's by a creator called Mick the Cowboy. He's definitely one of the front-running creators when it comes to first-person shooters, and Call of Duty Zombies is kind of his specialty, with a few different maps out there. This game actually plays ridiculously well. It sounds exactly like Zombies. He's definitely ate those sound files probably from the original source. And it'll be interesting to see if this could be ported over to VR. I would imagine this is pretty taxing when the zombies really start coming, but really excited to see. And this is another level by Mick the Cowboy, and this is called Christmas of the Dead. Plays just as well as the other one. Some of the mechanics are missing from the zombie shooter, but it's incredible how much functionality he's gotten in here, not only from the way the zombies act, but just gunplay, gun sounds, you know, expanded levels, secrets in the levels, power-ups, you name it, it's awesome. And this is another Call of Duty map called Zombies Krankenhaus der Untoten. Yeah, I don't know, I butchered that. The creator is Ez_P2_Run2. Not quite at the level of Mick the Cowboy's maps, but pretty damn good. It's missing a few bits of functionality, you know, like knife attack and such, but it plays really well and totally, again, worth checking out. And of course, we also have some real Call of Duty, and this game goes by the name of Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. It's not, but it still works really well as a tech demo. It plays well and fast, and yeah, it's definitely decent, guys. And it's visually above some of the games that we've already played on PSVR, so it'll be interesting to see if that can be brought over. The creator here is Geraldo26. And speaking of gun mechanics in VR, this is something really special. This is actually a tech demo of gunplay for VR. It's using the motion controllers on the DS4 to simulate the feeling of like moving your head and arms. And guys, like it's impressive. Gun visuals, while not totally there, are really good. You can actually see it functioning when you're chambering bullets and such. It's pretty hard not to get excited when looking at this gameplay and thinking about implementing this with the aim. And if you take anything away from these videos, it's that the creator community is like insane. And they're pretty much breaking all the rules and starting to put out content that's better than some developers. And with just one person, and often in just like months. So the next one here is not actually a shooter, but I needed you guys to see this because it's just awesome. It's super polished. This is called Temporal Fuse, and this is by the creator Dancing Ember. Kind of a combination of Talking Nobody Explodes, along with the vibe of I Expect You to Die, but then with a lot of the gameplay mechanics of Superhot. The point here is find the bombs and defuse the bombs, except that when you move, time moves. And you don't have a lot of time, so just like Superhot, you gotta plan your moves, making it kind of a strategy game. It's not that long, but man, it's really polished. And speaking of Superhot, just damn. This is by the creator Levy Burnett, and it's called Superhot Dreams Are Executable. And now implementing this to VR control is going to take some talent, but then again, I would just never put anything past this community. The game's got good bones, so it'll be really exciting to see.
Superhot. Superhot.
Again, not a shooter per se, but guys, this is a visual masterpiece called The Encounter, and it's by Big Surf F77 and Marcy Kin 98. It is true that a lot of games made in Dreams look like Dreams game with this almost kind of like painted brush look. Dreams doesn't actually have to look like that. It just takes time and a lot of skill to properly craft these textures. And this is proof. This game is ridiculously polished. It's not really much of a game as it's only about 5 minutes long, but the demonstration of what you can do in Dreams and the fact that it's playable and plays well is incredible. Again, just jumping on the visual train and showing you what is possible. Here's a quick demo called Jurassic Park The Kitchen, and that's by the creator IDEX Tiger. This small little demo looks amazing. Plays alright as well, but the real takeaway here is the lighting. Super impressive. And then speaking of super impressive, something that'll get a lot of you guys excited is a look at what could be with the remix of BioShock by the creator Peach Plum Pear. Again, super short, just kind of a visual test, but it's playable, and the lighting here is fantastic. So it's hard not to think, if they don't give us BioShock in VR, someone might just make it. And then when it comes to visuals, I would say this is definitely one of the top games. This is called Survive, and it's by the creator of Virtually Vain, and as you guys can see, it's insane, and it was definitely one of the first games, I think, to show people what Dreams could do visually. We've since seen some attempts that are even above this, but this still remains absolutely incredible, and the lighting is just unreal. It is playable, but it's very much a tech demo, just kind of showing you the fundamentals and the game mechanics at play, but really it's mostly just showing off the visuals. The fact that this is just possible in Dreams visually makes my mouth water about what people could actually pull off in VR. Going in a completely different direction, here's a first-person shooter called Call of the Battlefront, and this is by Super T-Man. You'll remember I was talking about him in the very beginning of this. So this is his newest project. It's definitely a tower defense still, but holy crap, the gunplay here and just the gameplay in general is absolutely incredible. I've caught myself playing this for hours. It is crazy polished, visually impressive, and even the AI is not that bad. Guns feel and sound so good, and you can get in vehicles as well, which also play and feel big. But seriously, Dreams and VR, if it could bring us stuff like this, and this guy did this in months. What you're starting to see is creators collaborate as well. You're seeing multiple people on projects. So some are doing visuals, sound, voice work. There's some absolutely incredible stuff in here. And I'm going to show you guys all that over the next few weeks to help give us an idea of what might happen in VR. And if we're talking about what might happen in VR, guys, there's no close second here when looking to see what can be made in Dreams and what could possibly be coming to VR. We all want Fallout, and this is actually so close to the real game that if somebody just walked into the living room, they would think you were just playing the normal Fallout. This is Fallout 4 Dreams Edition by RoboKiller V2. Guys, this looks and plays and sounds so much like the original games, it's actually kind of freaky. Some of the functionality is missing, and it's a little less open world because you have to like kind of warp into areas, but that's totally understandable. And at this time there's no VATS, but this is definitely kind of a work in progress. With when it first launched, it was only that first area, and now it's expanded to the city and the sewers, and there's more to come. So anyways, guys, I'm going to leave you with this. Thank you so much for watching this video. Hit that like button if you liked the video, and please consider subscribing if you want to see more PSVR content from me. Please stay tuned as I continue this Dreaming of Dreams series and start to get a really good idea of what might be possible when VR is added to dreams in the coming months. Thanks again, and I'll catch you guys on my next video.